The history of sports car and motorsport racing runs deep here at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. It's a circuit that demands concentration. It's a circuit that demands perfection, because just off the hard standing of the track surface there be problems, and those problems are the gravel traps and the sandy soil around the 2.23 mile circuit with 11 corners just off the coast inland from Monterey on the way to Salinas. And the names tell you all you need to know: Andretti, Rahal, Rainey, and of course the Corkscrew. Known the world over, whether you've driven it in real life or whether you've only done it on a video game or a simulator, you know it is there to catch out the unwary. And today, for 2 hours and 40 minutes, the teams, drivers, the tyres and cars of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship will be taking that challenge for lap after lap after lap. Hello everybody, and welcome to our live coverage from WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. My name's John Hindorf, and joining me in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre, Ryan Marine. We've had the Rolex 24 at Daytona. We've had the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring. We've had 100 minutes on the streets of Long Beach. We come to our fourth different style of circuit with a natural terrain road course, and our fourth different venue with a different duration, should I say, of the races. You've got to think that some of our teams might not know whether they're punched, countersunk or bored at the moment, but they will have to get their heads around it, because there's no time to make up for any mistakes here.
No, just 2 hours and 40 minutes. This is a track that comes at you fast and furious as well. You've got to be ready to roll with the punches as this race develops. But you talk about this track, what a classic this is. Opened in 1957, 180 feet of elevation change around a single lap. You drop about 5.5 stories in the Corkscrew alone. That's driving this place by yourself. What a challenge that is. Then you throw in all of the competitors, the multi-class aspect of this. This is going to be a jam-packed race full of fun and excitement. Can't wait to get started.
At the front of the field, Dries Van Tor continues what has been a simply stellar qualifying performance for 2025. He has yet to be toppled from pole position. 4 events, 4 different circuits, 4 pole positions. This time, just 0.005 of a second separated him from the Porsche Penske Motorsport pairing of Matt Campbell and Felipe Nasr. There's a story with that number 7 car that starts in 3rd position, because it's not been headed at the checkered flag in the 4 races so far, the 3 races, so far this season. We've already done 6 hours of the WEC at the classic event at Spa. Thank you, Johnny and Bruce. Andy Prio was with me for the NLS 4 hours there, and now we turn our concentration and our attention to 2 hours and 40 minutes for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Split grid, green flag, we're racing, and the 2 hours and 40 minutes starts right now. And a jump into the lead for Dries Van Tor for the BMW M Hybrid V8. Both of the Porsches coming very quickly. There's 3 wide going through turn 2, the Andretti hairpin. I've not seen that before, as Matt Campbell and Felipe Nasr trying to put pressure on the leader. Here comes the GTD Pros and the GTDs. Giacomo Altoe in that very distinctive yellow Ferrari with the purple stars on it, the rhubarb and custard car, as I have been calling it all weekend, has held on to the lead, but round the outside, a fast starting Dan Harper in the Paul Miller BMW is making the best of his front row start and trying to get to the lead as they head through turn 4 and up towards turn 5. Quick cars in behind these GTD Pros. Watch out for the caught off Mercedes and Kenton Cook as he's trying to pick his way through. Looks like he is right on the tail of Aaron Tielitz in the Lexus, one of the GTD Pro cars, as they head through turn 5 and 6 and up to the top of the hill, up the Rahal straight, and already one of the Mustangs is off. It's Fred Favish, who was in qualified in 7th in GTD Pro. An untidy start for him at the front of the field. Dries Van Tor leads, but not by much. The two Porsches are trying to keep him honest at the moment as the GTD Pro battle heads towards the final corner for the first lap. The two Corvettes running together. Nicky Katzberg's moved up through the field. Actually, it's Klaus Bachler who's moved up through the field in the EO Racing Porsche as they go across the line. BMW number 24, Dries Van Tor from the two PPM Porsches. Nasser from Campbell, Tom Blomqvist next up. So two Porsches, a BMW, and the first of the Acuras in 4th position in GTD Pro. Dragon Speed Ferrari, Paul Miller BMW, Klaus Bachler for Porsche and for EO Racing, then Nicky Katzberg and Alexander Sims for Corvette. Ken Cook has held on to top position in the GTD category ahead of Vassar, Sullivan Racing's Parker Thompson, who's made a good start, as has Winwood Racing's Russell Ward. I'm going to take a breath and go and lie down in a darkened room for the next hour, because that was a very exciting first couple of laps. Ryan Marine, great start for Dries Van Tor. Penalty, I said in our Porsche keys to the race, you can't afford penalties here. Column change prior to the start of the race. That will be a drive-through for Dan Harper. Paul Miller Racing, so that great start has been negated.
That's what we saw yesterday. If you have that penalty and you take it early, then that gives you a chance to take advantage of yellows if they come. That one was pretty clear. You have to stay in your column up through the start-finish line. Once you cross the start-finish line on the initial start, you can change columns. Harper from the outside of the front row very clearly did change columns before that start line. So that was an easy call for race control. Harper now down the pit lane, serving that penalty, dropping him out of 2nd place in class.
Just a quick note on another one of the GTD teams that is having to fight their way from the back of the field. Heart of Racing in the number 27. Casper Stevenson actually set the 3rd fastest lap in yesterday's qualifying session. And a technical infringement discovered after that in the scrutineer dropped them to the back of the field, John. So they're having to fight their way forward. And right now, not the only one of the GTD machines having to do that.
So now mired in the GT traffic, and that's the opportunity for the two Porsche Penske Motorsport 963s. Felipe Nasr has passed his teammate Matt Campbell and he's going for the lead. The undefeated pole sitter for 2025 against the undefeated team at the checkered flag. It's going to be round about 48 to 50 minutes, we think, is where we're going to get. And we've got, of course, 160 minutes to run today. So that doesn't quite divide on how it goes. It's going to be a 2 and a bit pit stop race. Where the bit is and how long it is actually the question that nobody up and down the pit lane actually knows at the moment, and that's where the fun is for us.
And they wouldn't tell us if we asked either, and you can't blame them for that. Fred Vesti just set his car's fastest lap of the race, so at least someone out there is pushing.
Bit of contact, Paul Miller Racing. That is Madison Snow, who's added a bit of aerodynamic assistance to the right-hand side of his BMW M4 GT4. I think he took that off the back of one of the Corvettes, so I'm not sure what all that was about. He's actually pitted to have that removed, and they're putting on some new Michelin Pilot Sports. Car is down. That's super early. I presume that was to take that. Oh no, that might have been a damaged tyre. They're having a good look at the rim from the right rear of Madison Snow's car. They have removed the extra aerodynamic accoutrement from the front end.
We just saw Jimmy Bruni pit, first GTP car to pit for JDC Miller, and just crunching numbers, I think this is really on the fringe of being able to do it in in one more stop without some help. So I'd be curious if Arjuna can track down whether or not this was planned.
Let's get down to Arjuna. This is not optional. If you've been given a mechanical black flag for anything, you've got to come in straight away. And Arjuna, it looks like a 4 Michelin tyre stop.
4 Michelin tyres, does look like scrub tyres from where I'm standing right now, and driver change going through as well. Ricky Taylor jumping out, Felipe Albuquerque is going to jump in and take over in that Cadillac number 10. Lots of smoke as the burnout as he pulls away from the box. A nice tidy stop for the number 10.
2 other cars being given exactly the same tyre operational requirement black flag, that being the number 14, Aaron Thielitz, Vassar Sullivan. In fact, actually, it's both of the Vassar Sullivan Lexus, the Pro car, the 14, and the Parker Thompson number 12 car. And that car's running second at the moment. Hang on a second, I've got to add another car to that as another one is coming in, and that is another drive-through for Brendan Arieb this time, and he's the leading Bronze Cup driver for Inception Racing in the Ferrari. So once again, both Vassar Sullivan Lexus and the Inception Ferrari, and that is tyre operational requirements. I just wonder, with this rash of tyre penalties effectively, Ryan, just wonder if people have got their calculations wrong.
This is really strange. I will say this hurts Brendan Arieb more than the others because the minimum drive time in GTD is 40 minutes. They would have wanted Brendan to do the 40 minutes, get out, and then have his driving done. If he does have to come in immediately, he will not have fulfilled the 40-minute drive time, which means they'll have to send him out again. And he is in the pits now, so they can't neatly cut off his stint the way that they would have liked to. The other GTD cars that have had this issue, they have a bit more flexibility with their driver lineup, so I think they can strategize their way around this, but this is bad news for the 70.
Also into the pit lane, it's Roxy, number 77 car, perhaps a tad close to the wall there.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit tight for them changing the left-hand side tyres, Ryan.
I had the exact same thought. That crew member had to jump over the fuel hose and barely was able to bring the tire with him.
Slow-moving Porsche, it's the number 6 car, Matt Campbell. He, I think, got a little tap there, and he may have a puncture. He's heading into the pit lane, down at the bottom of the hill. This all started coming out a rainy curve. No, he's not. He's done the old 3-fingered salute, Control-Alt-Delete.
Looks like as we have a battle for the lead, I think, here, John. I'll let you take that, and then we'll get back to what happened.
Side by side, going up to turn number 6 and heading up the Rahal Straight, but Dries Van Tor repels Felipe Nasser for the time being, but that was traffic assisted. Coming to the sort of area where the team car seemed to cut out or something, just under the walkover bridge there and plunging down towards turn 10, right in the midst of traffic. Opportunist manoeuvre from Felipe Nasser, but just couldn't get it done. So Campbell was fine. He went off the track and side by side, and actually there was contact with the Lamborghini. Drama on the pit lane with a car dead stick in the middle of the pit lane, now gets going again. That was the DXDT Corvette, which is now rolling again.
Yeah, there was actually contact, John, with the 021 Triati competition entry that was leaving its pit box. DXDT, Alex Udell trying to get into the lane. Unfortunately, not able to find their marks, and so I can see Robert Wickens sitting on the pit wall now as that Corvette goes around and does another lap.
And there's damage to the right front of the JG Wentworth Ferrari and the 36 DXDT. This is starting to heat up again at the sharp end of the field with Felipe Nasser as they're coming through again to lap traffic. Under the tyre rack, walk over bridge towards turn 4, pick a side, any side. Dries Van Tor goes down the inside, might have just lost a little bit of pace through turn 4. Is there an opportunity at turn 5? darts to the left, then goes to the right. Got to be left room on the outside. And Felipe Nasser goes Buffalo Gals round the outside of turn 5, through the dummy to the right going into turn 5. Dared Dries Van Toor to block him, which he did, and then swapped sides. The number 6 car is in the pit lane for Porsche. So the team car, the car that's just taken the lead, and there's a bit of argy-bargy going on, coming out of the corkscrew as well a moment or two ago. That was the Faf Racing Lamborghini, and that car was side by side for a moment at least with one of the Vasser Sullivan Racing cars. Meantime, replenishment of energy for the white-striped Porsche. That's the number 6, the old Salzburg Racing colours. Bad news if you're an Aston Martin fan. A cut rear tyre on the left-hand side, and that is going to be a long and arduous drive back, round about half a lap for the Aston, which has just been getting quicker and quicker all weekend. That Valkyrie scored in 5th position as it went across the line to start this lap for Roman De Angelis. So a bit of lappery going on now. Now, can the BMWs work together here? As the leader, Felipe Nasser, is coming to put a lap on Marco Wittmann in the number 25 BMW. It's a team game. I don't like to see it, but all's fair. That 25 BMW will want to stay on the lead lap, and he's allowed to defend for that, coming up to pass the Aston Martin now of Roscoe, who did stay in that car. Aston Martin, just a completely different look and sound to everything else. It is, of course, built and running to a different set of regulations than all the other cars. It is the only LMH car, the Mon Hypercar regulation machine. Everything else is LMDH in the GTP category. I think we've had a change of lead. I think that early pit stop for the number 6 Porsche has put them ahead of their teammates, Ryan.
It does look that way. I want to make sure everything cycles through, but I think you're right.
And we might be having a full course yellow here. Heart of Racing Aston number 27 is in the dirt for Casper Stevenson. Now, is that engine still running? I think it is. And he's got it moving. He's got it moving. He's found first gear. He was facing the wrong direction at turn 5. Bit of extra racetrack there this year. Subject of much discussion, actually, in the driver meeting about whether you could use it, when you could use it. Casper didn't panic there, recycled. He had help. He had a lot of help from Elliott Skier in the Wright Motorsports number 120. That'll be getting looked at. Ooh, now up the inside, but was Elliott close enough? You've got to give room for both drivers. Racing room has to be given. Wow. And here comes a penalty for blocking. And this is the Aston Martin, number 27, Casper Stevenson. So he has been assessed as the transgressor, presumably, in that turn 5 incident that put him off the side of the circuit. Oh, no, he hasn't. No, that's a different event, because I've just seen that Adam Adelson's car has got it was Elliott Skier behind it. The 120 has been charged with incident responsibility with the 27. So both of those cars will have to come down pit lane. Into the pit lane for the number 60 Acura. That's the Colin Brown car with damage to both left and right rear. The first one we knew about because the right rear fell off the track, but there's now been a further piece of contact coming out of the final corner. Oh, the rear wing's broken off and everything. That's going to be more than just a bit of tape. They're going to change the whole rear deck. They were asked politely to come in by race control. There was a orange and black flag, the meatball flag. And here's our Piloti mid-race recap. 62 laps. Well, we've just turned 63, actually. Matty Jaminet still leading. Battles going on down the field. 0 cautions for 0 laps. I can't believe you guys put that on there. You're just tempting fate in graphics up there in Concord. And at the moment, no official retirements, but we've got a couple of cars that are off the back of the field who have dropped a couple of laps and been struggling. Oh, let's go down to the pit lane. The leader in GTD Pro pits for AO Racing.
It is Lauren Heinrich that makes his way into the lane, and 4 Michelin tires, and I think 4 sticker Michelin tires are going to go on to the Dinosaur. Also across from me, the Dex Imaging Wayne Taylor Racing number 10. There is big damage to the right front of that nose cone. You can see a gaping hole in the bodywork, actually, and so while they get to work on changing the Michelin tires, sticker Michelin tires as well, the question remains, are they going to change the nose cone? They have it over the wall, ready to put on, but remember, you can't have all your crew over the wall, so you've got to prioritize in the order of operations. Fuel still being loaded onto the car, and finally they're trying to get to work, I think, on that nose cone, but a bit of delay here. They forgot the tools over the wall. They run back over to the car, off it comes, and getting to work on putting that new nose cone on. Brandon Miller, number 3 Corvette GTD Pro entry, also off of the lane.
It's going to be pretty tight for that leader in GTD Pro. Lauren Heinrich goes back out with an hour and 4 minutes to go. The Dex Imaging car ready to leave as well. Little shake of the head by Philippe Albuquerque. An hour and 3.5 minutes to go.
Well, I'll tell you this, they could have gone longer and chose not to. And here come a lot of the other GT front runners in both classes. So that would indicate that they feel that they are in the window. It might take a little bit of fuel save, but I don't know that they would have pitted from the lead if they didn't think they could make it the rest of the way, unless there was an issue that we don't know about. But the fact that some of these other GT cars are coming in this lap, I think a 65-minute stint is doable.
Strategy in the GT classes, and here is the big move now. Will everybody else jump? You have to, because we've had Matthew Jaminet in and out of the pit lane, 4 Michelin tyres and a replenishment. He was down at 18% of his fuel. Hello to Carsgrove Vroom. Great race, thanks for explaining the strategies to us. We're doing our best, to be honest, but frankly, I might as well be making it up as I go along, because there's so much going on out there. We can only give you the numbers, and hopefully we're reading them in the right way. In comes Marco Wittmann. That's okay. Yes, that makes sense, Ryan, because he was down into single figures. So now it's a game of chicken at the front of the field between Nick Tandy and Philip Eng. But look at the first flying lap from Mathieu Jaminet of 14.6. That's the fastest lap of the race, and that is half a second away from the race lap record set last year by the Cadillac of Sebastian Bourdais. So he's got out. Leader comes in, Ryan, and this could be the race right here.
Looks like a pretty good execution there for Porsche Penske, as you would expect. Now they wait to hit the number, and they do not have to fill it all the way up. We'll watch and see how they blend back together.
It is going to be tight, because the number 6 team car is just coming out the final corner, and that effectively is the leading car that they've made their last pit stop. Tandy's gone off on the exit of the pit lane, but he's managed to hold on to it and then gets out in front of his teammate. He was 2 wheels off as he came out, but can he get the tyres up to temp and pressure? This is the opportunity now for Mathieu Jaminet. No team orders here. The 6 car's been the bridesmaid 3 times so far, and he'll go through and take the lead. And that was the tiniest of mistakes from Tandy as he came out of the pit lane. He knew it was going to be tight. There was a little fumble on the right front, but it didn't cost them any time. They were still filling. We haven't had a pole position winner in GTP for 2 years.
But while we've been covering off all this strategy in GTP, John, very quietly, Windward Racing has done what it does so often. Philip Ellis and the rest of that team has stolen a march, and they've gotten to the front of the GTD field.
And they've made their last pit stop. Battle for the lead coming through. Traffic goes by the caught-off car again. And now in behind the number 31 Whelen Cadillac. That's Jack Aiken trying to stay on the lead lap. And Tandy's right there. This is as close as they have been for some time. The top three are on the same piece of track. My goodness, it's happened again. We haven't required neutralisation to bring it all back. 2 Porsches, 1 BMW. We've had 2 hours and 34 minutes of green flag racing, and the wick has been turned right up. Top 3 within a second, over the top of one of the most famous parts of any track in the world, the corkscrew. Coming down to the last 2.25 miles, and Nick Tandy is right under the wing of his teammate as they get on the throttle out of turn 11, through to start the last lap. The BMW is there maybe to pick up the pieces. Dries Van Toor's not been this close. Nobody's been this close to the Porsches this year. There's almost a touch into the hairpin. Tandy goes wide. Here comes Van Toor, sticks the nose in and then has to pull back out again. Past the Liquid Molly Turner car through turn 3. And there's a car between the 2 Porsches now. Tandy's got to go down the inside of turn 4. Makes it. Slight hesitation on the throttle from the leader as he came out of turn 4. Might give Tandy a look at 5. No, it's not close enough. Van Toor's following them through. This BMW, you know, I fancy this to get between the 2 Porsches before the end of this race. If they're this close going into turn 11, Van Toor's going down the inside of Tandy. If Tandy's this close going into turn 11, he's probably down the inside of the leader. They've got the Motul car right in front of them, the FAF car. That has done so well to get up to 4th position in GTD Pro. 2 more corners. Tandy's got to pick a side. I think he's picked the wrong one. Where's Van Toor? Here he comes. The side-by-side. They touch. Tandy and Van Toor side-by-side, hip and shoulder. It's going to be a Porsche Penske Motorsport car that wins, but it's the 6 team from Tandy in second for the 7. It will be Dries Van Toor, I think, in 3rd place. He's off at turn 11 at the moment. Is the car damaged? And will the 7 crew hold on to it? Here comes the... Now, he's got broken steering, I think. No, he's fine. The 24 car I'm talking about. And he will get to the line in 3rd position. Already, we've seen the winner in GTD go through. Philip Ellis for Windward Racing. Good first stint as well by Russell Ward. And in GTD Pro, we're waiting for the pink Porsche of Lauren Heinrich, who's finished off the race. And Roxy takes a win for AO Racing. The unofficial results, subject to post-race technical inspection, sees the team Matthews, Jaminet and Campbell, Mathieu, Jaminet and Manny Campbell. It continues the winning streak for Porsche and for Porsche Penske Motorsport, but the car that's been second in the previous races takes the top step of the podium this time, ahead of the championship leaders, which they will hold as they leave the WeatherTech SportsCar Championship Monterey event here at WeatherTech Raceway. On the podium again for BMW, Dries Van Toor and Philip Eng. Still no pole sitter has won in GTP since 2023. Incredible stuff. GTD Pro, Lauren Heinrich brought home the win after Klaus Bachler started off with Roxy. It was the Ferrari number 81 quick car, qualified on pole position, Albert Costa and Giacomo Altoe, and 3rd for Corvette with Tonio Garcia and Alexander Sims. And meantime, in GTD, Phil Ellis and brought home the Windward Racing Mercedes number 57 that had been started by Russell Ward. Jack Hawksworth was the man who finished it all off for Vassar Sullivan in the Lexus number 12. And in third place, Conquest Racing came through. Quiet race for them in the 34 Ferrari, the blue and white machine. But they did the job and come home in third on the podium.